Hey guys, so I've gotten requests to upload like clips from my lives because there's a lot of people that don't have time to watch my long lives because I do long lives. So people just want to know the content and not have to see the whole interaction. So I'm trying to make a point of uploading like specific clips from my lives. So those people that want that kind of content have that too. So that's what this is. It's going to be, if you see a couple clips from my live yesterday, that's what these are. But actually, I am going to do one new one, though. Just be looking out for that. The new article I read about this whole Ruby and Jodi crazy ordeal. Okay, so first I'm going to read an article that talks about this woman that spent time in the cell with Ruby and actually spent some time with Jodi. Kind of interesting. So it says a woman in jail with Ruby Franke said she seemed smitten with Jodi Hildebrandt and was upset they didn't share a cell. A woman who spent 3 nights in jail with Ruby Franke told Insider about her experience. So Deborah Monson told Insider Franke was really concerned about being separated from Jodi. She said Franke seemed almost childlike and smitten with her. A woman who shared a jail cell with Ruby Franke for 3 nights said Franke seemed fixated on her YouTube partner Jodi Hildebrandt and complained that they were held separately from one another. Deborah Monson, 52, spoke with Insider about her stint in the custody of Washington County Sheriff's Office in Utah at the same time as Franke and Hildebrandt. Monson was arrested on August 31st on allegations of petty theft and drug possession. She told Insider she is innocent and will fight the charges. She was booked the day after Franke and Hildebrandt were arrested on suspicion of aggravated CA. Franke is a famous parenting YouTuber who launched the channel 8 Passengers along with her husband Kevin, documenting their life with their 6 kids. The channel closed early this year and Franke switched to helping front Hildebrandt's channel Connections. Monson said she spent around an hour with Hildebrandt at the start of her stay in the Purgatory Correctional Facility. Oh, so she spent time with Hildebrandt too. Followed by 3 nights with Franke in a medical area. As of Thursday, both Franke and Hildebrandt were listed as still being in jail. Insider contacted representatives for Franke and Hildebrandt, but neither responded. Monson said she had no idea who they were at the time and only realized after she left and her family was talking about them on the drive home. Monson described both Franke and Hildebrandt as really tight-lipped, but she said she had a lot of time to observe how Franke behaved. Most notably, she seemed distressed that she and Hildebrandt had been separated. So I really think they were in a relationship, like an intimate relationship, more than friends. And the thing is she, like even on Ruby's Facebook, it changed in a relationship with Jodi. I mean, I don't know anybody that does that just for a friendship. I've never seen that, which is fine. But the thing is, it's fine by me. But what I'm saying is they are preaching against that. So that's why it's really hypocritical because, if you saw Jodi's niece, she went through all this punishment because she was gay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they teach against it. But yet I think behind closed doors, I think they're in a relationship. I really do. I feel pretty confident about that. I think it's more than just friends. I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Crime Watcher. I don't think they would admit it, but. And then you saw, I played the clip where Jodi's niece said, they asked, the interviewer asked, well, do you think Jodi is, gay? And she says, well, she would never admit it. But one time she did say to her that, well, if she ever got in a relationship with one of her friends, like a girlfriend, it would be different because she would have this deep emotional connection with them. And her niece is like, yeah, that's called being gay. I mean, it's called like a relationship. What do you mean? That's how it is. If it's real, But anyway, so let's finish reading this. So she said, God, how long are they going to keep us in here? Ruby said that. And why did they separate me and Jodi? Monson said. She said, I can't understand why they separated me and my friend. Franke was really, really concerned about Hildebrandt, she said, and wanted to see her, wanted to talk to her. Monson said Franke was interested after she let her know that she was briefly held alongside Hildebrandt. So now, after she knew Monson got to interact with Hildebrandt, this is what it sounds like she's saying, that now she's interested in this Monson. right? I think that's what she's saying. Yeah, because she's like, oh, what did she say? How did she act? Did she say anything at all? So Ruby's asking the cellmate, because knowing that she was alongside Jodi, so she's asking Monson, what did she say? How did she act? Did she say anything at all? She said, and described Franke as almost childlike in her manner and almost smitten with Hildebrandt. Monson told Franke that Hildebrandt seemed pretty distraught and didn't want to talk about anything at all. Jodi had obviously been crying a lot. Monson said of her time with Hildebrandt, her eyes were really red and swollen and kind of squinted. You could hardly see her eyes. She looked very distressed. She said she asked Hildebrandt why she was in jail, and Hildebrandt looked at her with not a smile, not a frown, but a straight face and said, I'd rather not say. I said, okay, I apologize. I wasn't trying to invade your privacy, Monson said, and that was everything that was said between us. Monson said Franke reacted to her account by saying, that's what I thought she would be like. Like, oh my God. Monson said Franke also played mother hen to another woman in their cell who Franke believed was going through drug withdrawal. This is the part that I read it was on TikTok. So Franke was tucking the blankets under her and mothering her, nurturing her, Monson said. Franke also carried a Bible with her a lot of the time. She kept holding it to her chest and she closed her eyes, Monson said. At one point, Monson said she saw Franke crying. When she asked her what was wrong, Franke said, I just miss my kids. Monson said she doubted Franke's sincerity, though, saying her emotions seemed to have no depth and that she seemed completely narcissistic. Franke and Hildebrandt both faced 6 felony counts of CA. The Franke kids were taken into care after the arrest, and the courts have kept details of their care since confidential, citing the children's need for privacy. Legal documents from the arrest allege that the 2 of the children were found badly mistreated. An affidavit said one, a boy, escaped from a window at Hildebrandt's home in Ivins, Utah, and pleaded for help from a neighbor. Officer described him as emaciated with the duct tape around his ankles. Police then found another child in the same condition at Hildebrandt's house. They are both denied bail. And if you guys haven't been following this closely, so the excuse that Ruby gave for why they had their son tied up, because he had a porn addiction, basically. And we know this is what Jodi specialized in his porn addiction. So that he had been abusing other kids. Supposedly he admitted to doing that to 20 other kids, and that he started looking at porn when he was 3 years old. So even if that is true, which I don't believe it to be true, whose fault would that be if your 3-year-old kid has access to porn and even knows, like, would want to look at it at 3 years old? Think about when you're 3 years old. Are you kidding me? That would still be your fault, Ruby. But the thing is I think if people are coming out against Jodi, who she has treated, where they'll be like, they just have like a healthy, probably healthy sexual relationship, or that they may have looked at it once or whatever, and all of a sudden now they have an addiction. You know what I'm saying? So I think it could be as small as like the kid maybe being caught with something one time, and all of a sudden, oh my God. And they just like they blew it all out of proportion. Maybe I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be just a complete fabrication. But the reason I think it could be Jodi manipulating Ruby into like, oh yes, he has this problem, is because when they got arrested, they both basically had the same story. Because remember, Jodi said, there was accounts where it said Jodi said that he had to be tied up because he couldn't be around other kids. So I'm thinking that, yeah, even if that would be true to even a little degree, it would be the parents' fault. It would be Ruby and Kevin's fault. But I don't think it's as big as what they're saying. I think if anything, Jodi made it out to be this huge thing, and it was probably just a normal boy thing that something happened, and all of a sudden now this boy is troubled and he's got this problem, this addiction, and it's probably just like a healthy thing that he was caught with something. I don't know. Maybe it was just even like a magazine of a girl. Maybe it wasn't even actual porn. It could be just something so stupid that she blew out of proportion, like she does. It's coming out with her other patients when they're like, she accused me of having this addiction when it's not. So But they said he admitted to doing that to 20 kids. It's ridiculous. So we'll see what happens. So Monday they're back in court. So I'm going to see what time. I'll try to live stream it if they are going to let it. Okay, so I'm going to end this here, and I'll probably have maybe like one other clip from my live, or possibly two. But real quick, I wanted to also make a comment about if, let's say this would be true and she felt like her son did have this issue and he was caught doing stuff to other kids. If this is even true, I'm having trouble believing that, but let's say it comes out it is. There's still a big issue. Number one, how did he get access? That's your parenting. Number two, you don't just tie your kid up, starve him, and expect him to learn from that and be okay. If you want to help your kid, you go get him help. You get him professional help. Take him to therapy. How is starving him and abusing him like that and tying him up, how the heck is that going to help him? That's not going to create a healthy adult. She's just doing more damage. He's young enough. Get him some help. So either way, there's no excuse, Ruby and Jodi. I'm sorry. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, guys.
It's been a long